Mustard reseeds itself with passionate abandon. Usually I don't let these plants go to seed, so I won't have many to thin out. But last fall, I deliberately allowed several plants to mature so I could demonstrate how to collect and use the seed in a Let's Make Mustard workshop. Nature did its usual fertile thing, and now dozens of young plants were crowding their bedfellows. The fresh leaves would make a spicy dish of Southern-style greens for tonight's supper with plenty of lemon and garlic, tasty alongside the pork roast I'd put in the slow cooker that morning. I was enjoying this Monday garden chore, humming to myself and thinking of nothing more significant than tonight's supper menu and what I might do that evening. Work on my cross-stitch project? More likely, settle down with the mystery I'd picked up at the library on Saturday. I certainly wasn't planning anything out of the ordinary, anything like getting involved in a perilous situation in a faraway place with people I don't know. Which is why I nearly turned down the invitation. I was still pulling baby mustard plants when I heard footsteps crunching on the gravel and a light and bubbly voice. "Hey, China! How are you?" It was Penelope Paxton, the newly elected president of the Merriweather Herb Guild and one of my favorite people. 40-ish and energetic, Penny has long blonde hair that frames her face and curls on her shoulders. She was wearing tan slacks and a green t-shirt that declared, "Time in a garden is never wasted." I tossed a plant in the bucket. "Hey yourself, Penny." I lifted my trowel suggestively. "Happy to have you join me. The mustard got a little rowdy this spring. It wants Aries all to itself." One eyebrow cocked. She glanced at my dirt-stained jeans, then stuck her hands in the pockets of her slacks. "Actually, I was hoping you might be about ready to take a break." She wore a serious look. "I have a question for you, and maybe a project if you're interested, but it's a little complicated. Is there somewhere we can sit and talk?" If I had known what was on the other side of this conversation, I might have said something like, "Oh gosh, I don't think so, Penny. Not right now, anyway. I promise to," and then make up some excuse to get out of whatever it was that Penny had in mind for me. If I had known, I could have, but I didn't. "We can sit on the deck." I pulled off my garden gloves and picked up the bucket of greens. "How about some tea?" Iced tea, the Texas state drink, which we serve even when there's a blue norther blowing and icicles hanging from the gutters. "Sounds terrific." Penny grinned, probably relieved that I hadn't invited her to my solo weeding party. A few minutes later, we were seated at a table on the deck outside Time for Tea, the tea room that Ruby Wilcox and I launched several years ago. I had filled 2 tall glasses with iced hibiscus tea and put a half-dozen of Cass Wilde's cookies on a plate. Cass cooks for the tea room, helps out with Party Time, our catering service, and manages the Timely Gourmet, a meal delivery service for people who don't have time to shop and cook. All this is adjunct to my Time and Seasons and Ruby's Crystal Cave. We keep busy. "Oh, lovely," Penny said, reaching for a cookie. She nibbled. "Chocolate chips and mint. Delicious. From your garden?" "Right over there," I said, nodding at the patch of mint next to Time Cottage. That's the old stone stable-turned cottage that I rent as a B&B. When it's not spoken for, Ruby and I teach our workshops there. I added sweetener to my iced tea and leaned back in my chair, lifting my face to the sun. In another month, I wouldn't be able to sit out here for more than a few minutes without sunglasses, a wide-brimmed hat, and sunblock. But today the sun was just right. There were early roses at the edge of the deck, mixing and mingling with late daffodils. A mockingbird poured a